meet into session. Today's date is Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, calling this session of the Wayne County Ethics Board into session. Getting right into our agenda. We are now in session. Moving right into our agenda. The first item of our agenda is the roll call. Good morning, Ms. Kangura. Can you take roll call for us? Hello.
You have Ms. Hunter today.
Oh, hi, Ms. Hunter. How are you? I apologize. Ms. Hunter, can you do roll call for us today?
Octavia?
Pam, do you want me to start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Each member is acknowledging that they're attending the meeting via Zoom and that they're in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Mr. Young?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. Lewis?
Here.
Ms. Hammoud?
Here, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay.
Well, lucky you.
Dr. Carnell. Yeah. Dr. Carnell has requested an excuse, and Chair Pinkins.
I'm here and I'm in Detroit, Michigan. I wish I was at Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
And Mr. Chair, you have a quorum present. I'm sorry, we don't have the agenda on the screen, but I'm reading from it. Approval of the November 17th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Okay, so getting into item B of our agenda, is the approval of the November 17th, 2021 meeting minutes. I believe everyone has received a copy of the meeting minutes from November 17th, the November 17th, 2021 meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
And at this time, has everyone had the opportunity to review those meeting minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
And at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So moved. Moving into a next item of our agenda, which is item letter C, which is unfinished business. At this time, is there any unfinished business that we have before us?
No, there is not.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Slizak. Okay, we're going to move on to item letter D, which is new business. The number one, we have the approval of the 2021 year-end report of the Wayne County Ethics Board. And just before we get into the approval of the annual report, for those new members to the board, and I know the old members, the regular members already know, but those new members, this ethics board has to do an annual report. Generally by December 15th, we have to get a report out of which basically details everything that this board has done for the year. And again, that annual report has to be done, completed, and we usually the chair signs the annual report. This board usually reviews it and adopts it, does a motion to adopt it, and it is adopted, and after the chair signs, it is disseminated to all the departments of Wayne County. So it's very important that this annual report is accurate because it does reflect this board's activities for the year. So I just want to sort of give a brief overview of that and some history of it. It is noted in our ethics ordinance as well as our operating rules and regulations as we're to prepare an annual report by December 15th to disseminate to all the departments in Wayne County. And I just want to thank Mr. Domzo for putting this together. And it was sort of last minute there, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. So at this time, has everyone received a copy of the annual report for the year 2021 and year-end report?
I did.
Yes.
And has everyone reviewed the report?
I did.
All members. Is there any questions? You have not. Ms. Lewis?
No.
You have not.
Is it a long report? Can we show it or?
It's not too long, but I do want to make sure you had the opportunity to review it. Mr. Slizak, is there a possible way of putting it up on the screen? Can we do that?
I don't have the capability of doing that. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
Coty, she is on the line, but the computer is frozen. She can't, it's muted. It won't unmute her. She can't put anything up. So the meeting is open and she's hosting the meeting, but she does not have any other capability. She's working on it.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Fordham. Why don't we do this? Ms. Lewis, did you receive the packet for today's meeting?
yes. Let me see if I can, do you want to move on the agenda? I'll see I can locate it and maybe I can share it or just review it.
No, why don't we take a brief minute? If you can locate it, we'll take a minute and review it, because I want to make sure all members have the opportunity to look at it before because we have to approve this, and we want to make sure it's accurate, because if it's not accurate, this is our stamp that we're putting on this to send out. And we also post a copy to our website. So we want to make sure this is accurate. So yeah, let's take a minute and see if you can pull that up, Ms. Lewis. Any other members at this time, if you haven't had the opportunity to take a look at the year-end report, please do so at this time. We'll take a couple minutes and take a look at it. Let Ms. Lewis take a look at it and see if there's any questions or any concerns.
I'm trying to locate it. It was sent from, and I apologize.
It's
Looked like it
included
was,
per chair. It's included in the package. It starts on page 8 in
okay.
the email that we received.
Sometimes my Gmail acts really weird. I mean, my email.
Okay,
acts
There you go.
really
Somebody
weird.
sharing it.
There we go.
Oh, someone's sharing it? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yep, it's now on the screen.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry for that.
Yeah, got it up. Oh, sure. You're welcome.
Okay.
I know it's not mentioned here, but I just from the chair would just also like to thank Miss Octavia Hunter for her work as well. I know we didn't mention Miss Hunter in the notes here, but the chair wants to also thank Miss Hunter.
Mr. Chair, if I could just make a couple comments too, just for the general, I guess for the general population, so to speak. I first of all wanted to thank Joe Slezak for his input. I wasn't personally around all year, but in reconstructing some things, Joe was helpful in terms of activities during the first part of the year. It really does appear, frankly, that I kind of lucked out. I tell you, it got a lot less busy than it certainly was at the beginning of the year. I made in preparing the report, I made a kind of a policy decision not to identify by name the name of the respondent. I think that's pretty much been the case in the past. The only ones that have been identified are where there's a specific case, an advisory opinion, or a case that actually went to a hearing. So I think it's just good policy not to, particularly the respondents where the complaint was dismissed. I don't think there's any particular purpose to be served by identifying the respondent by name. The only other matter, and this is a more specific matter, in the Monica Palmer case, which is identified in the report, that was the one matter in which there was a hearing that took place. There had been a ruling, and I did follow from the minutes. It was a lively discussion, I guess, on the part of the board. But there was a finding that Ms. Palmer's roles were dual roles were incompatible. There was then scheduled a future hearing to be determined as far as what further action, if any, the board might take. And the minutes were kind of quiet at that point. And I don't know, I'm kind of speculating that perhaps Ms. Palmer resigned one of those positions or, so anyway, I just wanted to flag for the board and I'd be, anyone can please chime in and edify me on that. I just left it blank, but for some reason, it didn't appear that after the ruling of incompatibility was made that there was any further board action taken on that.
Yes, I'm just going to chime in as my understanding, the chair's understanding, and I do believe Mr. Williams did circulate. Ms. Palmer dissolved the board, the taxpayers for Grosse Pointe Public Schools or Grosse Pointe Schools was actually dissolved. So the entire organization was dissolved, and Ms. Palmer no longer, the board was ceased to exist. So she continued the role at the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, but the taxpayers for Grosse Pointe Schools was dissolved completely, and we received actually confirmation from, I believe it's the Legislative Affairs, showing that it was completely dissolved. So that was my understanding.
Thank you for bringing that up, and I'd be happy to add that to the report if the board so wishes.
Yes, please, Mr. Donzo, if we can. Yes.
Mr. Pinkins, I just wanted to say that's my memory of it too.
Yes, Mr. Thomas.
And I think that was one of the primary reasons that I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I know for me, that was one of the primary reasons why I went along with the recommendation. Which at the time, I know that some people on the board felt was a little on the light end, but it was a resignation that kind of tipped things in that direction for me, at least.
Yes. Thank you for that, Mr. Thomas. Yes, that's and Mr. Donzo, yes, we do want to add that in because we want to make sure that was clear to the general public that not only did she resign from the taxpayers for Grosse Pointe Schools, which was required that she resign one of the roles, but she actually dissolved, the whole organization itself was dissolved. And we received confirmation from her attorney that showed that it was actually resolved. It was dissolved. So we want to just make sure that that's clear. So thank you so much for that. And also just want to add to that this report, this year-end report, while sometimes it may not seem to be that much of a big issue, in years past, we have seen just some of the language itself can be quite concerning, because we did have one year where a particular department head come in, and this particular department head had a few complaints. file in this against this particular department head or in people within his office. And those complaints we found were criminal in nature and beyond the purview of this board. So those complaints were submitted to the prosecutor's office for further investigation. Well, the language we used in showing that it was criminal in nature and referred to the prosecutor's office, this particular department head found that to be offensive because in writing, this is disseminated to all department heads in the county, as well as placed on our website. So someone looking at it could take the impression that the particular department head was under investigation, criminal investigation. And obviously politically, he did not like that language. So, and such was not the case. So just that language itself, we did as a courtesy for this department head, look at the language itself, and we decided to revise it somewhat because this department head was not the subject of a criminal investigation, just the complaints themselves were beyond the purview of this board, and it seemed to rise to the level of some particular involvement by the prosecutor's office. That's what we determined. So I just put that out there just to show that this year-end report and the language that we use in it is highly sensitive, obviously to Wayne County and various public officials. So just wanted to state that. Okay, at this time, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Domzo with respect to the language in the year-end report?
Mr. Chairman, one issue, if I can, real quick.
Yes, Mr. Young.
I'm trying to recall, and I didn't think of it when I was reviewing this yesterday. On the Monica Palmer matter, originally, were there not 2 charges brought against her, or at least alleged to have occurred? One of which the board determined did not result in a violation, and the second one that we're looking at right now did. I'm not sure that it matters. I'm just recalling that, and maybe memory on my part is what's failed here, but and I didn't have a chance to look at it, so I just recall that. I thought we had quite a debate, as Mr. Domzel said, on both issues, and I don't know if you have any independent recollection of that or not.
And thank you for that, Mr. Young. And actually, you're very accurate. You're quite accurate because we did find that I believe it was 2 issues. I believe she was found to. We found that there was a conflict. I forget what the first issue was, but we did find that there was a conflict which required her to resign from one of the dual roles that she served in. The first issue, I'm not sure if another board member can refresh the board's recollection of the first issue, that we found that she was not guilty. She was not, well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was found not guilty of being in violation of the ethics code, but we did find that there was a conflict, a possible conflict of interest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Mr. Pinkins, I would like to, I'm just going from memory. I did not look into my file concerning the history of Miss Palmer's matter. I did not do that. I didn't catch that. But it was it's my memory here today that we dismissed the conflict of interest. And I actually think I remember the conversation went that the board had historically only considered conflicts of interest based upon a financial conflict of interest. And that's my recollection of it. And what I would say is, I don't know if Mr. Domzo would be able to review the tape of the hearing where we entered the findings, because we put it over for the sanction phase. But it's my memory that there was lengthy discussion regarding what the board has historically considered when deciding conflict of interest matters. So I guess that if we can't agree on what she was found responsible for violating, maybe we have to look into that a little bit more before we issue the report.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Young, can I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
Do you remember the part of the conversation where there was some back and forth regarding the fact that historically the board was looking at financial issues when deciding whether a conflict of interest exists? Do you recall that?
When you said that, Mr. Thomas, it did spur some recollection. I know we discussed that. How we actually fell on that issue, I just don't remember. I do remember that I think we were pretty together, for lack of a better word, on the second charge. But the first charge took quite a bit of discussion and review. And it wasn't unanimous, but I think there was at least a majority that felt that given the wording of the ordinance as it applied to the facts or vice versa, that there wasn't enough there to find a violation. And I think the issue that you raised had something to do with it, but I'd have to go back and look.
I think that's what we may need to do. Mr. Domzel, do you have the tapes available from the second to the last hearing? I know there were several hearings in the matter. It was the second to the last hearing where the board voted on findings, and one of the counts was dismissed, and then the other one we found her, the board found her responsible for. I really believe that that's what would have to be looked at.
First of all, yeah, I stand corrected that there were two charges. One was dismissed. I just wrapped the two together, and I understand. I don't really have, I'm not aware of the tapes. I would have to do some checking on it, and I could certainly do so. I can reach out and see if we can find that. But I can. It was dismissed, and I guess the reason why the first item was dismissed is I don't recall from the minutes.
Through the chair, this is Joe Slazak. The videos of the meetings, if you go to the Ethics Board webpage, there's a page called Archive Videos, and they're there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The chair is going to sort of echo the comments that was made. I do believe we need to make sure that this is worded exactly as it occurred. Not that we have to get into all the minutia, but want to make sure that it's accurate to reflect. As Mr. Young pointed out, there were two issues. I believe either one issue was dismissed, and one issue she was found to have been violated. That's I thought that's what brought about the request that she had to give up one of her dual roles there. So we just want to make sure that's accurate and that reflects in the report. So as someone's looking at this, they can be able to see actually what accurately took place. This report really has to be sent out by December 15th. However, in this meeting here today, we are discussing this. So once we can, Mr. Domzel can review the meeting minutes from those particular hearings, and can bring this up to sort of date here, the chair will review it. And if you can get that done as soon as possible, Mr. Domzel, and get it over to the chair for review, and then we can hopefully get this out within the time frame. All right. Is there any other questions regarding this matter or any other matters for the year-end report?
Through the chair, this is Joe. The motion would have to be the report as approving the report as amended.
Yes. So, well, Mr. Slezak, do we need to do a motion now as amended, or do we need to first see the report and then go from there? Or
actually, with Pam, can you step in on this one? Well,
Sorry, I was trying to get off. I was trying to get off mute, and I believe Felicia's on the line. But is the intent to have the body look at the report again, or just Mr. Pinkins?
Well, Mr. Pinkins, I don't think that that would be necessary. You can discuss the matter with Mr. Damsel. Nobody is objecting to the report. What we're doing is we're asking for clarification. I don't think that we would have to meet on it again, and I would be concerned about getting it out on time. My motion would be to approve the report. I would say as it's going to be amended, if necessary, by the chair and our council. If that's a proper motion.
Okay.
That motion is proper, but Felicia, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think that motion is proper.
Yeah, and perhaps the motion might also add to clarification regarding both complaints that were part of the overall complaint, just so it's clear what the amendment refers to.
I'll
So,
modify my motion. I'll modify my motion.
okay, well, while we do this, the chair will read the call of the motion, and the motion is made by Board Member Thomas, as the chair understands it to be, as a motion has been made to adopt the year-end report as amended to include the under other complaints under letter A, the matter with Monica Palmer, to include the two issues that arose before this board into the language of indicating the resolution, if that's correct.
Yep, seconded.
Second, is all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? The ayes have it, so adopted, and so moved. Okay, now we're gonna move into the next item of our agenda, which is number 2, which is approval of the Wayne County Ethics Board 2022 meeting schedule. So my understanding is from Mr. Slizak is we're supposed to, going forward, we're supposed to set a meeting schedule for the next year, indicating each meeting date to be placed onto our website for the general public to know the dates and times of our meetings, which is actually very good because it allows a person to know when this board is meeting, and if they would like to attend the meeting, they can do so. They know the time, they know the date. So at this time, I think Mr. Slezak has a list of dates for the upcoming year, and we'll look at those dates. Mr. Slezak?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The third Wednesday of the month is available every month in 2022 except June. And in June, the first, second, and fourth Wednesdays are available. The third Wednesday, we have committee meetings, but third Wednesday is available, all except June, and then we have those other Wednesdays in June.
In June, does any board member have a recommendation as to the second or the fourth Wednesday of the month for the meeting?
I have both available, so it wouldn't matter to me. That's whichever is a consensus among everybody.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Any other member have any other, the second or the fourth?
Same here. So yeah, I'm fine either one. So we're looking at June 8th or June 22nd.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm fine either one.
The 8th works better for me. But if you have a quorum, that's fine.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so right now it seems like we're looking at possibly the 8th. Does any other member have any any conflict on the 8th, the second Wednesday of the month for June?
Nope, none for me.
None for me.
I'm good.
I'm good also.
All right, so the chair will adopt a motion to accept the meeting schedule of the third Wednesday of each month, except the month of June, which will be the second Wednesday of the month. If there's a motion to be made, the chair will entertain that motion.
I'll move that schedule.
As stated, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Young. I'm sorry.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So move. The Wayne County Ethics Board 2020 meeting schedule has been adopted. Moving on to the next item of our agenda, which is number 3, which is an update from the subcommittee to select a new attorney for the Wayne County Ethics Board. So the chair is going to take over now. The chair has, this board has graciously appointed this chair to serve as the chair of the subcommittee for the to select a new attorney for the Wayne County Ethics Board. Myself and board members, Mr. Schaefer, Ms. Lewis. Ms. Lewis has graciously offered to serve and has been appointed to serve as the clerk for the board, the subcommittee. And just a brief update of where we are. So this committee has met rigorously every week, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. following its appointment and the creation of the subcommittee. We have met with and interviewed various candidates. We've narrowed it down to 3 who we feel are very strong candidates. Those 3 candidates will be presented to the board at our January 19th meeting, at which time we will present our report and recommendation to the board. If there's any questions, the chair will entertain them at this time. Any questions on the just an update?
None on my end.
Nope. Thank you for all the work and time that you've been putting, to advance this. So thank you.
Mr. Schaefer or Ms. Lewis, would you like to add anything?
Only that Ms. Lewis has done a fabulous job in maintaining things, and as you have, is keeping this moving forward.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, it was great working with the subcommittee and going through the interview process. So I look forward to issuing that report next month.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
You're welcome.
Okay, that was just an update from the subcommittee. Not sure we have to do a motion to adopt the update. So we're going to move on. If there's no questions from any other members, we're going to move on to item E of our agenda, which is such other matters as may be properly submitted before the board. At this time, are there any other matters before the board?
Well, I don't really have a matter. What I would like to bring up is I appreciate it in the
Mr. Thomas, yes.
in the year-end report and in the minutes from the last meeting, it appears we're putting over until next year the discussion regarding proposed changes to the ethics ordinance. And I appreciated that because I was hoping that since our last meeting that nobody would have, no other agencies or boards would have requested a final draft. I know that those proposed changes have been pending for a while. But what I would like to say is I'm very glad to hear today that we're going to put that subject over until next year, because I would really like to have available to me and all board members, if we have any questions, our new counsel, whoever that attorney is going to be. So I felt that was very important. I'm just saying I was gratified by that. I don't have a problem with it. And I think that was a great idea to put it over till next year.
Mr. Chair, if I might make a comment on that. Yes, I did speak to communicate to Ms. Johnson, and yeah, her only request was to incorporate any new 2022 comments with the, I guess, the 2018 or 2019 draft. So, put it all together, incorporate it. The document is not I will say that the document is not the easiest to read, the red line version right now, but it can be done. And but yes, I think that new council can come in, take a fresh look at this, both the work product from 3 years ago, I guess, as well as any additional comments. So yeah, I just wanted to concur with Mr. Thomas's comments on that.
Thank you for that, Mr. Domzo. And Mr. Domzo, just also too, I know we spoke about this before, but I just want to make sure that I know you're winding down the practice there at Williams Acosta. And if this board was to appoint someone on, say, January 19th, how flexible will your schedule be, and sort of work with that person to get up to speed before you're actually sort of back in Colorado there? Would you would that give you
Yeah,
enough
Mr.
time?
Chair, no, absolutely. Yeah, whatever it takes. I think I mentioned at the last meeting, not all of the records are perhaps paper records. There obviously are a lot of electronic records. So I think that, my suggestion would be when new council is selected to actually have a conference call. Mr. Slezak's name comes to mind, the chair's name comes to mind. I guess I'll defer to the board, but I think there really should be a transition phone call. We can go over the, like I say, the file transfers, both the paper and the electronic files. But I think also just to, kind of do the debrief and, kind of get the new council up and running. And I'd be more than happy to, participate in that call.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Domzo. And again, on behalf of this board, thank you for all your work. And again, thank you for stepping in as you did this year. You sort of saved us there. We did find ourselves sort of in a bind there with the passing of Mr. Williams. So thank you so much for stepping in and sort of taking on the reins there. All right, with that said, any other matters as may be properly submitted for the board at this time? One matter that the chair did want to mention as well, I understand from Mr. Slezak that the board is going to, that Wayne County is going to require that the board begin to start meeting again in person following, I believe it's next month, in January, if I'm not correct, Mr. Slezak?
Through the chair, this is Felicia, if I
Yes, Ms.
may
Johnson.
respond to that.
Yes.
So at this point in time, state law indicates and allows for boards to meet remotely through the end of the year. If state law is not changed, which we don't anticipate a change by the year end, then all boards, including the county commission, public boards, will be required to meet in person beginning January 1. If that changes, we will keep you as the chair updated and board members updated. But at this moment in time, yes, we do anticipate that meetings will begin in person. Just know that the county commission is considering all necessary appropriate protocols, to comply with public health concerns and public health orders that may be in place at that time.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Also, we discussed, I believe myself, Mr. Slezak discussed making sure that all members have access to the parking garage. The newer members, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Schaefer, Ms. Lewis. I'm not sure. I don't think you all have parking pass that allows you to gain access to the parking garage. So I did mention to Mr. Slezak if he is working on getting you guys parking passes that would allow you access to the parking garage. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's on Congress Street. I haven't been down there so long, but it's right there downtown near the Wayne County building there. So
I'm through the chair. This is Joe. Pam and I have been talking about getting those parking passes. The garage is the First Street parking garage. It's along First Street between Fort and Congress. It's 4 blocks from the Guardian building.
Thank you, Mr. Slezak. Mr. Slezak, do you know how long or how soon you can get those parking passes? Obviously, it would be before the next meeting.
Definitely before the next meeting.
Oh, great. Thank you. And you'll be able to sort of get it out to each member before the next meeting? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Is that Ms. Fordham?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Fordham.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move right along now to our agenda, which is item F, which is public comments. Do we have any public comments at this time? Any submitted? Okay. We don't have any public comments.
This is Commissioner Hedges. I'd like to wish the board happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and hope to continue your professional job for the county and the citizen of Wayne County. Thank you.
And Commissioner, thank you for attending. Thank you for those comments, Commissioner. You have a happy holiday as well, sir. Thank you. All right, any other public comments at this time? All right, from the chair, before we move on to the next item of our agenda, which is the adjournment, I'm just going to say I want to thank each and every member on this board for the hard work that you all have done to making sure that we do what we do. Because of you, we're able to make this board an effective body. And I believe that we have done some great work for Wayne County. And again, I just want to thank all members. And again, thank you for the new members, Ms. Lewis, Mr. Thomas, Ms. Schaefer. Mr. Schaefer is a returning member. So thank you, sir, for coming back to the board. And again, thank you for all of your input and what you do. Again, thank you, everyone. And again, during this hard time that we've been facing with the pandemic and everything else, you guys, everyone continues to show up and put in the work. So from the chair, just want to thank everyone and wish everyone a great holiday season and a happy new year. So with that said, the chair is going to move on to item G of our agenda, which is adjournment. And the chair at this time will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, but before I do, I would just like to say something. I would like to wish everybody a happy holiday and a very healthy, prosperous new year. And I would just like to add that serving on this board over these past several months has been a very enlightening and gratifying experience, and I am very appreciative for it. And I'm very appreciative for being able to and have the opportunity to work with all of you. So happy holidays. And I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you for those words. So thank you so much. Thanks for those words. So the motion has been made to adjourn. I hear a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. This board is now officially adjourned until Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. Just before we leave, Mr. Slezak, Ms. Kongora, if you can make sure we get the contact information circulated of all the board members' contact information in the email, the chair would appreciate that. Just so we have the updated contact information for everyone. With that said,
I'm in contact with Yagnit about that. Yeah, she's actually not in this meeting, but because she has another meeting coming up. But yeah, we've been in contact. We've been talking about it.
Great. Okay, thank you, Mr. Slezak, and thank you for the hard work, Mr. Slezak. With that said, this motion has carried. This meeting is adjourned until Wednesday, January 19th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays and thank
Everybody, be safe. Be safe.
Thank you. Be safe.
Bye.
See you in the new year.
Bye.
Bye.